1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brigade.
Yay!
My name's Ken.
I'm Emily.
And we're a Broadchurch podcast.
Again! Yay!
And we're covering Season 3, Episode 1. Surprise! Broadchurch is back!
Yeah, it's really funny. So, we are in America, and so it's not being advertised here at all because it's not airing here, but I just happened to be on Twitter on Sunday, and there was a tweet from Broadchurch saying that Broadchurch comes back tomorrow, and I said to Ken, "Oh, this is happening tomorrow. We gotta check this out."
Yeah, and honestly, it was Sunday, so I was like waking up and in a haze, and I got this tweet from Emily, or I got a text from Emily. It's like, "Hey, check this out," and it was a tweet from was it ITV?
I think it was the Broadchurch Twitter account.
The Broadchurch Twitter account, and in my just waking up haze, I was like, "Did they tweet about us? Did they tweet about the Sea Brigade? Oh no!" But yeah, I was I was surprised and excited, and it was great because I actually haven't watched any of the preview coverage or teasers or trailers or news. When they confirmed they were doing Season 3, I was like, great, we'll podcast about it, I'll watch it, but I really haven't, watched the trailer or, so everything's going to be a surprise to me.
Okay, yeah, so had you seen the original trailer that got put out, or you hadn't seen
No.
that? Okay, because I had seen one trailer, but I hadn't, so I knew what the topic was going to be, but other than that, I hadn't really been following any of the other, there might have been other previews, I don't know, I only saw one.
Yeah, well, my first indication about what the show was going to be about was ITV, and rightfully so.
Yes.
Had this big warning. It's like, hey, this is going to deal with sexual assault. You should know that, it wasn't a trigger warning, but it was like, hey, before you watch this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I suppose we have every reason to just start at the begining of the Season 3 premiere. Because we start at those West Bay cliffs out in Broadchurch, and it's really beautiful, but the beauty doesn't really last that long.
Right.
Because pretty quickly we are introduced to Trish, who has arrived at the Broadchurch police station, and that's what I was to assume, at least, was either she arrived at the police station or that she had arrived at her nearest sexual assault center.
Mm-hmm.
But then right away, like Ellie's there, she's out of focus, and I'm, even though something horrible, as the viewer, I'm like, oh my god, they're back and they're here and they're gonna take care of this.
Yeah, it's like the mix of, I think they find the right balance between, us being excited that the characters are back, and also, our excitement obviously is tempered by the fact that they're investigating something, like you said, that horrible that has happened. And so, I mean, it's just great to see Ellie and Alec handling it so well and so professionally and making Trish feel supported and just, very calmly.
And you don't know this until they don't say exactly how long it's been until very, more than halfway through the episode.
Right.
They explicitly say it's been 3 years, but the first thing I wrote down was I thought her hair looked longer.
Yes.
I thought she looked a little bit more confident.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could just be making that up, but I was like, oh, okay, like the dynamic's the same, but and then it's not that much later on that she goes back to kind of doing her I don't know. She goes back to making some of her old mistakes.
Yeah.
Or which is to say, they're mistakes made because she has a really kind heart.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
Although, I mean, I was also really impressed by the way, because I was really hoping that they were gonna not go the route of Alec Hardy is an asshole and makes someone just even more upset. And I was really glad that he handled how well he handled it and how, well he spoke with her and the things that he asked. I mean, he kind of would push it a little, when he was checking her phone later on and whatever, and he was doing his typical thing. And of course, Ellie mentions make the tea first, and then you can go and do whatever you want to do. But I was glad. It seems like he's grown a lot in the 3 years too.
And I want to say, the one of the things I wrote down too was like at first it was Alec and then exclamation point and then evidence sheet, which I'm sure it's probably a standard police thing. But when he's like, "Hey, we put the sheet down,"
yeah.
So and I'm like, thank God they're not going to make any accidents.
Right.
They're going to do this by the book, and they're not going to miss the chance to. And of course, everything is going against them in this case, anyways.
Right. Right.
It's like, and it turns out, the name escapes me, but the case that we focus on in season 2, and it was like the prequel to season 1.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say Grace Point, but no, that's the American version of the show that was short lived. I really don't remember. This is so bad.
Did it have something to do with Lily?
Oh, there were lilies, maybe, or there were the bluebell flowers, and the guy's name was Lee. The guy's name was Lee.
Yes. Well, season 2.
Season 2.
It's good, but it's not. Yeah,
I gotta Google this.
I was like, I'm like, okay, even though it wasn't his fault, there was evidence lost. I still feel like they're learning. They have both learned from their past in how carefully they're taking this, and
yes, with both that case.
Those are basically my first. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, with that case and with the even for example in series 2, it comes back to bite Ellie that like in after she finds out that her husband, whose name I'm Joe, there we go. When she finds out that he's the one who killed Danny, and she like starts kicking the crap out of him in the
hitting him.
Yeah, exactly. And so that ends up coming back to bite her. So they're definitely much more careful and more they're gonna do this right.
Yeah. But anyways, so Trish is going through the motions here, for evidence collection.
Sorry, the case is called Sandbrook, by the way, the old one. The one from season 2. Sandbrook, yes. I had to Google it because otherwise it was really going to bother me, and we would lose our respect as the Broadchurch podcast. Proceed.
The only Broadchurch podcast.
The only Broadchurch podcast.
So yeah, we get a break. Ellie is talking to her father.
Yes, yeah.
And I quickly wrote, "Oh my gosh, Ellie's parents," and then
parent.
It sounds like, because he's moved in with her, and is taking care of the kids. When because being a policewoman is that's not a 9-to-5 job. She's working a lot of hours.
Right.
So that seems to work out for her. And
it seems like she's not entirely happy with it, because I think that I forget exactly what Alex says to her after, because he's something like, "How's your dad?" and she's like, "Awful." Or,
she says infuriating.
Infuriating. There we go. Yeah. So it's not like a perfect arrangement.
But does he seem infuriating to you?
No. We definitely haven't gotten enough to like make that kind of call, but I could totally see it just being the type of like usual like parents coming back to live at home with you and kind of disrupting what you're used to, your routine. And as much as he's helpful, he's also just always there and kind of be annoying.
Yes. Well, but the thing she's asking how Fred's doing, and he's like, "We need a loaf of bread."
Loaf of bread, yeah.
It's like, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then so it's right after the phone call that Alec and Ellie are talking about like all the things they observed about the state of Trish. She doesn't have ID. She doesn't have a phone. They noticed marks on her wrist, and they notice it was a head wound on the back.
Right.
And then they're interviewing her. She's giving some details, and they give her a chance to ask questions. And first thing she asks is, "Do you believe me?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn. Depending on how the season goes, they might get some serious credibility or recognition for how they're treating this.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to come from within the show itself, but I think externally, like, everything that I was reading was saying that, just how well, because I mean, in my personal opinion, I thought it was handled really well. I know you thought that too, but seeing other people's comments also seemed to be very, like, overwhelmingly positive about the way they proceeded.
Mm-hmm. I want to say we were quickly then, like, they're dropping her off at her home.
Mm-hmm.
Do you live alone? No. She has a daughter named Leah, who's off in London. Her husband has been separated. They've been separated 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we ever get her husband's name. I might be wrong about that. And then I wrote this down. I almost missed it. There was a cab driver. Alec is standing outside looking at the cab driver.
Yes.
I mean, for all we know, that could be this season's, like, version of the postman that was hanging out with Danny Latimer that ended up,
Yeah. Was he a cab driver or was he the neighbor? I thought he was a neighbor.
Could just be a neighbor. I wrote down cab driver, but again, like, I was just writing these notes while I was watching, and then my second set of notes are just from reading the screenplay is too complicated a word, but it's basically like all the spoken dialogue, so there wouldn't have been anything there. So I haven't I haven't checked that. But okay, we got shady guy in a car who rolls up his window.
Yes.
So there something suspect there. So I want to say, Alec is then, he's out, he's going to make the tea or whatever, and he notices, like, Kathy's, a note that says, like, Kathy's 50th. He's investigating. I really like this moment. It was, like, underplay, but Ellie is just like, I'm just warning you, he makes a really strong cup of tea. I like it, but don't tell him. I'm like, aw.
Yeah, it was very sweet. It wasn't, it just felt very natural that they were, just the comfort that they have with each other, even after 3 years, it still feels like they slipped back into the roles so seamlessly. Although it wasn't technically 3 years in our time, it was like probably a year and a half to 2 years for filming. Because I guess the last season aired 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's been 3 years in world.
Right, which I guess is like, maybe we're in the present day, or maybe we're in a little bit in the past, because I guess season 2 happened pretty quickly after season 1, but that still aired like probably 2 years after it happened. So I don't know what year we're in. I don't know.
I'm really glad that we are 3 years separated, because it gives a lot of the C tier plots an excuse to get written off entirely.
Yeah, and I really did like the way that it feels like this season really stands on its own more than season 2 did, because it was just so tied to season 1, and like certain people it felt like had obligatory reappearances, like whereas this season it feels like the new characters already feel really interesting, and the ones who did come back, it seems like there is, we didn't see everybody in this episode, so I don't know if we are gonna see everybody that we have seen, but it just felt like the ones who were pretty natural. Although it was kind of weird that I feel really bad that I don't remember the priest's name.
Oh, Paul.
Paul, there we go. I was going to call him Arthur Darvill because it's the actor, I believe. But it was kind of weird that he was just like hanging outside the bookstore with Mark. But
yeah, also, who knows? I mean, maybe we'll get some reasoning there.
I mean, maybe he's the only one who Mark is really talking to now, because it seems like, as we've seen now, that he and Beth are separated, which, probably for the best.
I mean, one of the last interactions, as far as we know, that Paul has had with Mark in season 2 was conspiring with Mark to, like, set up a kidnap at the church, at Paul's church, because Joe Miller always thought he was safe, I guess, in Paul's company as the priest. Yeah. And Paul was like, whatever, I'm just gonna let.
Yeah, honestly, the more I think about season 2, the more it's just like, it really should have just been the Sandberg stuff, I think, because it's just so much better and so much more just at the heart of what it was in season 1 when they are investigating something. And to have all the trial stuff, it was just like,
we want a whodunit.
Right. So if I were to go back and watch season 2, I would probably skip through the court stuff, because it just really, it was It was not good. I mean, uh, Jocelyn, Charlotte Rampling. Jocelyn?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought that up because
Yeah.
I was just googling Charlotte because I was like who played, because that was one character I was a little bit surprised not to see.
Yeah, although we probably will see her just because Maggie will probably be in the season because we've seen her.
Yeah,
So,
we just spent so much time with her last season and establishing her, and
well, she's honestly the only character who I really care to see from season 2 in season 3 because I can't imagine anybody from like the Sandberg stuff is going to show back up. That's just no.
I would hope not.
Yeah, and I also don't think that Sharon will probably show up either. Although maybe, but
was that the barrister who was like, yeah.
Although I don't think so. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I was going through. I don't know if you noticed, but I this caught my attention was the invitation to Kathy's 50th birthday party. Mm-hmm. Kathy has the same birthday as me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 28th? May 28th. There was a small little note. I'm like, oh, look at that.
Well, it's funny because my birthday is in May too, so I was kind of like, oh, maybe it's on my birthday, but it wasn't. And then I didn't realize that it was your birthday. I'd forgotten.
Yeah, so I had it's funny. I had completely when Alec is going through the house and finding all this stuff. Mm-hmm. A part of I kind of had like a brain fart moment where he picks up the phone and it says Kathy, and their text from Kathy to Trish. Mm-hmm. But I wrote down in my notes.
Why is he texting? Why is she texting Alec? Yeah.
I'm like, is Trisha's name really Kathy? I was so trying to be the sleuth. I didn't think about how phones worked.
Derp.
Yeah.
Tried to outsmart yourself, but you just
Yeah, and then so Alec walks into the backyard, turns around,
and that was probably our first shot, I believe, of Alec Hardy strolling purposely across the field. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Ellie's in the window making the tea sign. Every time do the snooping around after you made the tea. If this is anything like seasons 1 and 2, though, this house will probably really matter because in each season you've had like a house that is tied to a crime scene that like you're going to revisit and revisit revisit.
That's a really interesting point, because even I was looking around and kind of trying to get acquainted with her house, and I noticed that she has a lot of cacti, which I thought is really cool. There's like a ton in her kitchen, and then even outside there's some, and she has lots of like little wind chimes and that kind of thing. And it seems like a very like bright and cheerful environment, which is also kind of why it's so... And seeing those photos of Trish on the fridge, I mean, she's smiling and she's happy, she's with her family, and she just seems to be really full of life, which is, the Trish that we know that we've met is the Trish after this assault, and so she just seems like a very different person, and it's kind of jarring to see the differences in the Trish that we know versus the Trish that she actually is. Mm-hmm.
I did notice in her photos they make a point of showing that Trish, her daughter, and I would imagine her husband at the cliffs in Broadchurch.
Oh, I honestly didn't make that connection.
Yeah, well, I thought it was funny because they say she's about 5 miles out of town. Mm-hmm. So, it definitely wouldn't be out of the question to just go visit.
Right, yeah.
But I just thought that would be important.
Yeah. It's interesting that she's also like a little bit outside of the main Broadchurch area, so she's still part of the town, but she's like, it's believable and understandable that... I mean, look, the people that we met in season 1, it's more like a play structure, and that we have like 7 or something. We know like 7 people. I'm just going to guess 7. And there's obviously way more people in the town, so of course, Trish doesn't necessarily have to be in season 1 or season 2, but that makes it completely understandable. Yeah, she's just kind of off. She's in the town, but she's not in like the center of town life.
Well, she's specifically in Flintcomb, she mentions to Ellie. I didn't catch that, but I saw in the script.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't catch that either.
I try my hardest especially reading the script really helps because you see things spelled out that otherwise, unless you had like closed captions on. But I don't think ITV had closed caption options.
It does actually have closed caption options, so I turned it on. But they're very obtrusive. I don't really I don't like
big.
They're very big. I don't really like closed captions anyway, just because then I focus more on what's on the screen to read than just watching. And also, I hate when it reveals something that they haven't said yet, and then it's like,
yeah.
and then they say it, and you're like,
yeah. I have to say, I have to watch HBO's The Young Pope with closed captions because those Italian accents are just too dense, and if I didn't have them on, I'd be sitting there wondering, what did he just say?
yeah.
And
Well, a lot of mystery shows like this one, they do kind of do like everyone's whispering and everyone's talking very quickly. Like I know my dad when he watches like Masterpiece Mystery on PBS, which is like it's like our public broadcasting channel. We only have one or two channels that are public channels, and they air like the Masterpiece Mysteries and that kind of thing. They air a lot of British shows. And so whenever he's watching one of those things, he has to turn on the closed captions because, you know, he's older and he can't hear very well. And it's always very dark and you can't see either. So he always needs the closed captions. And me too.
And in a mystery or whodunit, you can't
Exactly.
really afford to miss out on stuff like this because that could all end up mattering.
Exactly. And David Tennant's Scottish accent is very thick, and so sometimes you can miss certain things. I have to like either go back or just turn on the closed captions for that, just because I mean, and you know when he's speaking, it's generally important things. So for him, I sometimes have to use the closed captions.
Yeah. So Alec and Ellie are leaving Trish's house. She's like, Trish is making it very clear that Ellie doesn't want to tell any of her friends or family, or she doesn't have anyone. She doesn't want anyone to know. So I mean, so there is a service council that the police are hooking her up with,
right.
But then Ellie goes and gives her phone number.
Yeah.
And I love how this plays out. It's like, don't tell Alec I gave you my phone number. Immediately calls her and answers on speakerphone in front of Alec. And it's just like, and I stopped and laughed. And I know, like it's very serious in the world, but very funny.
Yeah.
Like you just can't get around it. It's like, oh, Ellie.
Yeah, and you just know that he's judging her the whole time, and he can't wait for her to hang up and just
give her what's what. Oh, that dynamic is so good.
Yeah, and it's the type of thing where, like, and this is also why they're both just so good together, is that generally neither of them are really wrong in an argument, because they just both represent different moral points of view, and they present both points of view. Because, like she says, somebody's been raped, somebody needs some support. And whereas Alec is on the, trying to, like, the police ethics side of it, of, like, you can't be giving yourself always to the people that were helping, and there are people who are supposed to help her, kind of thing. But Ellie just has that moral heart of like, but I know that I specifically can and want to help her, and I just want to give her some sort of comfort. So they're both, neither of them are wrong. It's just that they're good at checking each other.
Am I wrong in thinking like Alec is the ethical one, by the book one?
Yeah,
it does in Sandbrook.
He's the ethical one in general, but he can make dumb choices when he's under pressure.
Yeah. I was just thinking, we completely missed the fact that when they're at Trish's house, she confesses that it's been...
Oh, yeah. That's pretty huge.
Quite some time.
That's pretty huge.
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
That's huge of us to skip over.
I was going on about how her birthday was on the 28th.
We're talking about the important stuff here, guys.
Like tea. But yeah, in case you missed it. Rape happened on Saturday night.
And it's Tuesday, right?
Oh, she reports it on Monday night,
right,
and we're now on Tuesday morning. So Alec is in the middle of his little rant, and he's like, it's been so long, the attacker can still be out there. And I was like, unless, and this is my super off the rails prediction, but there's a big gap between Saturday night and Monday night. Could be, who knows, maybe the attacker isn't out there, maybe the attacker is dead, and maybe the justice has already happened. I don't know. That would
possible, but I feel like that's kind of
not Broadchurch's.
No,
it's too twisty.
But
I just wrote that there with like a little wink, because I'm like, I'm constantly like doing the inverse of what characters are saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's also possible that the person who committed the crime isn't in Broadchurch right now.
Right. Well, so, like, when I say I'm constantly doing the inverse, because, like, it's just, it's just that style of trying to keep up with the mystery.
Yeah.
Like, the very first time when, like, Alec and Ellie were questioning Trish, I noticed, I think Alec said, like, do you know anything about the attacker? And Ellie said, what can you tell us, like, about him? And I'm like, oh, there you go.
Right.
But then, of course, they find a male condom at the crime scene. So it's like, all right, no. But, like, there's, in my head, I'm always got to be second-guessing it, no matter how dumb those second guesses are.
I mean, there have been some theories. Like, I saw one of the theories on Reddit was that it could still, I mean, it could be a woman with, but, using some sort of other object with a condom. But, yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, they go and investigate the old manor house, the Axhampton Manor.
Yes.
Which I think, depending on how things go, could be a new visit location for Broadchurch fans.
Yeah, it's probably going to be this season.
This season's like place to go.
Yeah. I don't want to say the Sea Hut because that was Alex's house last year or last season. But like the I don't know if was there a name for it where that cottage where Danny was killed.
They never really said. Nor did I visit it. People who listen to the podcast, they go back to the logs. There is an episode where I talked about the visit to West Bay I took, and I didn't go to the top of the cliff.
But they do in the show.
Oh yeah, I just didn't go up there to confirm what's really up there and what's not. Walking from one end of the cliff to the other is already a really, I wouldn't call it like an intense hike or anything like that, but if you don't bring the right shoes, that takes a while. So
yeah, but I could see that definitely being the place that they kind of come back to again and again. I don't know if they had, I can't really remember if they had one in season 2 because they figured it out in so many bits and pieces.
I think we returned to that apartment, that duplex
in
Sandbrook a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're gonna, without a doubt, we're gonna be at this manor again. So, and then I wrote down here, terrible things in beautiful places might be the alternate name for Broadchurch. It seems every time you find a beautiful locale, the show's like, something horrible happened here.
This is true.
But more than just a joke, I think there might be an actual meaning to all of that.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know, kind of the beauty of things and then like the terrible things people do to each other at these beautiful places.
Yeah. Well, I think also season 1 kind of, because originally you're led to believe at very first that Danny probably fell off the cliff.
Yes.
And so then originally nature was supposed to be kind of the one who was part of the crime, whereas now it turns out it wasn't, but it was also used in Joe's cover up a lot. So yeah, I mean we'll see how that plays out with this investigation, but it is hard when something happens out in the open. And again, it has been Alex says 60 hours since it's happened. You don't know there was running water nearby. You don't know what's been washed away. We just don't know.
Right. Yeah. So it's here that they call it in that, hey, we have a crime scene here at the Axhampton Manor. And then 28 minutes into the premiere of season 3, we finally get a Latimer. Which I was like, hey, you know what? That's something. That is a healthy break from, I would say one of, if not the main component of season 1 is like meeting and knowing the Latimer family and all their dysfunctions.
Yeah. How did you feel about the fact that Beth is going to be Trish's counselor?
I guess once they set up what Beth was doing for a living now, I kind of saw it coming, and as long as like it doesn't, I don't want to say this. I mean, it's a good way to keep Beth in the loop here, as far as like interacting with characters who matter. I mean, right? Like, okay, is it a bit too? I don't know. Who cares if television shows like take these leaps to connect characters together?
Right.
As long as they make it work, and if this is the final season of Broadchurch, I'm not sure that they've said as much, but if it is this is going to be a great way to. You can send Beth off on a really good note.
Yeah, I think finally, I mean, it's nice to see Beth getting something to do other than being like the grieving mom. So, it's nice to see her doing something with her life and trying to, I guess, get it more, I don't want to say back to normal because it's not normal, but, just doing things and being more than Mark's wife, and, because she's not that anymore, it seems. And, yeah, I don't know. I was glad to see her doing stuff, because I guess in season 1 we see her get, she has the job, I guess does she work in the tourist bureau? I think.
In season 2?
In season 1, I think her original job is she works for, like, the tourism thing. And then, and then in season 2, I don't think we ever see her at work. I mean, A, she has Lizzie, and then B, she's going to trial.
I might be wrong, but at most she sits down with victims from Sandbrook, right? Or other victims of people that Alec has worked on, and maybe there's some kind of maybe there's talk of a foundation, right?
Oh yeah, yes, because is it with him or is it with? Was Ollie in season 2? Gosh, I feel like I'm like honestly I'm embarrassed for us and like for our. How unprepared we were for literally we found out 2 days ago that the show was coming back.
I don't think fans of Broadchurch have for the last year and a half been sitting there like
analyzing every detail,
looking at a character sheet or editing. I mean, if there's a listener out there who like edits the Broadchurch wiki, I feel bad for that listener. But I feel like everyone else is out there being like, who?
Yeah, what? They're probably in the same boat as us. They're just like, yeah, I don't remember. The most that vividly that I remember season 2 was with the Sandbrook stuff, which is the most interesting and important stuff because, I mean, all the trial stuff ended up not mattering at all. It really did not matter at all. I don't know.
If there are listeners out there who want to correct us on something, you can
please.
Write in
please.
At cbrigadepodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, please help us out. Tell us how forgetful we are, and we just love to hear from you guys. It makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I like Beth as a counselor.
Yeah, I do.
More than I like Mark as author.
Yeah, well, I think that we're not supposed to really like Mark as an author, and he doesn't even like himself as an author.
Yeah, I actually really like that. Because... Yeah. So, all I wrote down here was Mark told his story to Maggie. Weird? ?
Yeah, super weird. And it's also super weird thinking about... I mean, I don't know, maybe she and Jocelyn are not together, but I feel like Jocelyn find that really unethical. I don't know.
And then...
I hope that Jocelyn's not dead. I mean, she was going blind, but I hope that she's not. I hope she's still alive.
I don't think that will be the case unless now Oscar-nominated Charlotte Rampling has no time on her hands.
This is true
for Broadchurch. It's funny.
Oh, apparently she won't return.
Oh well.
Yeah. Well, this is from the website digitalspy.com from June 6, 2016, apparently, that she won't come back. Yeah. Okay.
Whatever. Okay. It's been 3
years. Anyway.
She went so blind, she's not on the show anymore.
Yeah. Well, maybe she just didn't like Maggie after writing the book. This is a possibility that I can see.
That could be a one-line boom done.
It's true.
Yeah, it's funny. I totally, on one hand though, I totally buy Mark as the type of person who would be like, I need to tell my son's story.
Oh, totally. And like think that it's a really good moral decision.
And then...
Yeah. Yeah, well, he's done I think that's kind of him just like as a character. Like, I can't remember what he does a lot of dumb stuff in season 1. Obviously, like the affair and all that kind of stuff. And then in season 2, when he starts hanging out with Tom Miller, I think that's not a good idea, dude. Not a good idea.
Let's play FIFA on PlayStation 2. No.
No.
Don't do that.
Bad idea. In a trailer. Yeah. Don't do that.
He'd be better off like starting up the Sea Brigade in town again.
Yeah, for real.
As far as I know, has anyone inherited that?
I don't think so. R.I.P. Sea Brigade. R.I.P.
Like once Walter Frey passed away.
It's funny. No. I was gonna say Filch. He's still Filch to me, but yeah, he's also Walter Frey.
Yeah, I mean, anyways.
Yeah. I don't even remember his character's name, which is so sad.
I know. Oh god, he was the most innocent dude.
He was.
All right, and now I'll stall for a bit. You quickly get us the name of.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. His name was David Bradley, and then let's see. IMDb. Help me out here. Broadchurch. He was in Beowulf: Return to the Shieldlands. Jack Marshall.
How could we forget how an angry town basically bullied that man to death?
Oh, I mean, we haven't forgotten. We just forgot his name.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then it's right here that we get 3 years later, right from Mark's mouth, because and he's talking about like, how many people would even like want to like. So it's a book about a murder in Broadchurch, and he's watching the book release in Broadchurch.
Yeah.
And there appears to be a fair amount. They make it look like there's like a line to get the book signed by Maggie.
Yeah.
But maybe it was a small town book opening. Like, I don't know. You talked about it earlier, but the size of Broadchurch is so hard to put a fine point on because the cast is so small in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
But the towns they shoot in, like, this is something I was thinking about because they mention that the sexual assault place they took the place they took Trish to was in Poole, which makes me think that all this time they've been shooting for a town that's like almost the size like a Bournemouth or Weymouth, so it's like a pretty significant beach town. Whereas I've always kind of imagined it being a bit smaller than that. Though if it was like a Bournemouth-sized place, that would make sense because it's nestled between these two towns called Broadstone and Christchurch, which would make a pretty good marriage for Broadchurch. But like they just got me thinking because that main street is like, I'm like, okay, there, Mark is like watching the launch of this book. I'm like, it does look like it might sell well, which is weird. But
yeah, I could totally see that being a book that people would want to read.
And much to Mark's chagrin, he totally regrets doing this.
Yeah.
But on the whole, I like that this is Mark's trajectory. I thought the scene was a little bit weak.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Yeah, and plus he's just kind of lurking outside the bookstore with Paul, which is also kind of weird. But right. I guess it was kind of to let us know that Paul is back in the season, and to also kind of, I mean, when that's kind of paired with the later scene of when we figure out that Mark and Beth are not together, and that Mark doesn't live at home anymore and barely comes around. Maybe Paul is really the only person he talks to.
Yeah, I was half expecting Mark to share an apartment with his weird bald friend.
Oh yeah, Nige.
Nige.
Was Nige even in season 2? I don't even think
he's one of the people that helped kidnap Joe from the church.
Yeah. Oh, he was weird. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and his
he totally looks like a killer.
And Nida's secret mom is the woman with the dog who...
Yeah, Susan Wright.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, we're back at we're back at Axhampton. Brian returns, the CSI guy of the police team.
Yeah, Brian, Soko Brian.
Yeah, and then wow. Just calls Alex shitface right to his face. And then they're going out to
you know actually what's weird? Oh, sorry. I'm on the Broadchurch wiki. Apparently Brian wasn't in season 2, which makes me sad, which is why I'm doubly glad that he's back.
Right, it's so funny that I'm like, oh, Brian.
Me too. I was like, oh, of course, yeah.
This is a character we've met before.
Exactly, and I really liked him, and I totally forgot that he wasn't in season 2.
So, so Brian calls him shitface. They're going over to meet Kathy, who's Trish's friend.
Apparently she's just Kath.
Right, just Kath. Right. Yeah. No one calls her Kathy.
Yeah, but except for us.
Yeah. Anyways, and he's like, how long have they been calling me shitface? And like, since you got here. So while we're keeping track of names, this is like the Flintcomb, like, farmers market or whatever. Both Trish and Kath work here. And it's run by Ed. Ed is not happy about the police showing up and taking away his cashier. And he's super not happy that Trish is out for work and not hearing it from Trish. Though I got to say, if I gotta say, Ellie and Alec are kind of bad at keeping secrets here. They're like, why can't Trish tell me she's out? And like, we're the police. Shut up. She's not going to be in work.
Yeah.
And then they're questioning. They're telling Kath like, hey, there's been a rape at your party. And it's like, was it Trish? And they're like, we can't tell you. They both have the worst poker faces.
Yeah, they're not the best.
Right. So we get some details here. Kath thinks there might have been at least there was somewhere between 70 and 80 people at the party,
and 50 men,
and at least 50 men.
Which that's pretty weird.
How popular is Kathy? How popular is she? Jesus.
I don't know. Well, her husband also seemed like maybe he was kind of weird because the husband apparently planned the party and invited 50 guys to his wife's birthday party, and I don't know. Maybe it's like all his friends. Maybe she. But even still, how popular is he? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So, Kath's wife is Jim.
Kath's husband.
Right. Kath's husband is Jim. He's a mechanic in Flintcomb. He's like hella suspect looking.
Yeah, but it's hard to. I mean, obviously, people are gonna start theorizing like, who is it. I feel like we probably haven't met who it is yet, or if we have, it's someone who's very well hidden.
Yeah, well, and this show has tons of red herrings.
Yeah,
and this week's red herring is the red condom.
Yeah,
but we're getting to that.
Yeah.
So they get the bad news that there was at least 50 men at the party. I mean, worse yet is, can you really say that even if you interviewed all 50 men, that the attacker wasn't just hiding out in the backyard? But this all being premeditated, you'd have to think that he was specifically targeting Trish too. Right.
Or it could have been somebody who wasn't invited to the party but knew that they weren't invited to the party and knew that Trish was going to be there. I don't know.
Yeah, there are all sorts of factors. Yeah. Especially that she was gagged and bound. Yeah. So, she doesn't even have to meet her attacker in the backyard of this manor consensually. Right.
Yeah.
So she could be dragged out there, or so who knows? Who knows what type of party this was? Yeah. Anyways, Ellie gets a call to go to because Tom I think Fred might be in elementary school.
Yeah, yeah.
Tom, I guess, has been caught with porn in one of the most cringeworthy scenes I think the show's maybe ever produced.
Yeah.
So he's been caught with porn at school. He's also supplying links and files.
Yeah, he's running like an underground porn business.
And, yeah, I don't know what to make. And Ellie's also like, and Tom's like, everyone's watching porn, Mom. And Ellie's like, I will not have you be your father's son.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there tapping my fingers like, I don't know about this plot line.
Yeah. That's the one thing that kind of was weird to me. I do feel bad for Tom because it feels like anything bad that he does is going to come back to his father. And also, like, I feel like Ellie is just so hyper. I mean, A, she's investigating a sexual assault right now, and B, I guess the fact that Joe and his murder of Danny was, sexually charged, she probably just feels very weird about any sort of potentially deviant behavior. But, I mean, Tom's like, what, 15? He's definitely 15 because she yells that at him. But, you know, that's totally normal for a 15-year-old boy. And as long as it's not any... I mean, we don't know what was, what he's distributing, but as long as it's, nothing, like, weird, it's...
Yeah. I mean, that's the other part of the show that I'm, like, scratching my head at. I mean, the fact that it's porn, I think, is very deliberate because of all the things you just said.
Right.
The fact that the season 1's murder was sexually charged, and now we're dealing with a sexual assault. And in season 2, there was basically underage sex was at the center of why all this murder was going on.
Yeah, that's right too.
Because the victim's father killed her for having underage sex or whatever. I mean, it might have not been underage, but it was still like that was sexually charged. So like I see the showrunners choosing porn as the thing that Tom gets caught with, but it also feels so stretched. Like to me, it would have been so easy but maybe add a character for Tom, because this would be more devious. Like it'd be so much more believable if it was like he got caught with the sext, or he got caught with like if Tom got caught like sexting something to somebody or sharing somebody's sexts, I'd be like, oh, 15-year-olds in schools are actually running that shit all the time.
Yeah.
How many 15-year-olds are caught like, oh yeah, he's sharing porn with people. He's sending nude links to. I'm like, what?
I don't know what the kids are doing these days. I don't know.
Yeah, so I feel bad, but I'm gonna get. I mean, I can't just like, I'm going to give this time to develop because it could be a good plot point. But I was just like, if we needed something, we could have done something.
Yeah.
But unless this goes somewhere.
I don't know. I hope it doesn't become too much of a thing, but I hope that I think it'll be something that maybe manifests itself in different ways, but I don't think it's gonna be like a weekly thing of like Tom's porn distribution industry.
Right.
At least I hope not.
If the point was to get Tom excluded from school, I mean, I could see that mattering too, especially now that you have a sexual assault on the loose in Broadchurch.
I don't know what they're going to do with that. I mean, it's also interesting, too, that it seems like Hardy's daughter is living with him now. Is her name Daisy? I feel like it's Daisy.
That sounds right. Yeah,
Daisy sounds right.
That's better than I can come up with. Yeah. And it's nice because you do get these parent interactions.
Yeah. The weird thing though was I thought that his wife's name was Trish, but it's not. Is it Trish? It can't be Trish.
Something with a T sounds right.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm searching Alec Hardy on the wiki.
While you stall,
Tess. His wife's name was Tess.
Tess.
The daughter is Daisy.
I was gonna say I really liked that we got these interactions back to back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who would have thought Alec and his daughter at this moment would have had their lives together better than Ellie and her sons?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is that with Ellie, there's just a lot more. She feels a lot more pressure on herself to, be perfect, basically, because anything else that's a screw up, it's gonna come on to her. Because people probably already blame her for Joe's behavior and Joe's choices, and so anything now that Tom does, I think she also feels like it's a reflection of her. Even though really what Tom, I mean, I'm sure parents would probably be like, oh my god, like he's distributing porn at school kind of thing. But it's also like it's not an abnormal behavior to be exhibiting for a 15-year-old boy. So I don't know. I mean, she's definitely being too hard on Tom right now. But we'll see what else Tom does during the season. But it's also interesting to me that, Daisy's going to hang out with a big group of boys. I don't know. Not that I'm saying that, like, Daisy's doing stuff, but it's like,
Alec handles that.
Yeah, really well.
He doesn't even do the stereotypical, like,
Dad,
hey, boys.
I'm a cop.
Yeah.
Hands off my daughter. I got a gun. Although he doesn't have a gun.
Alec doesn't have the... Like, actually, those teenage boys could probably beat up Alec.
Yeah, probably.
Any one of them.
Yeah. Although he does have a better heart now, doesn't he? Didn't he have surgery last season?
That might have happened.
I think he had surgery last season.
I don't know. Yeah, so our detectives have those scenes with their children. Then the Latimers are hanging out with Chloe, who has a daughter.
No, that's the baby. That's Lizzie.
The baby.
That's Lizzie.
That's Lizzie. Okay, I was like, you can tell I've completely lost track of things because I was taking notes. I'm like, yeah, there was a baby in that scene. I forgot that Beth had a child, and that was like a big season 1 twist, so that she was pregnant.
Yes.
Or not a big season 1 twist.
No, yeah. It's like after Danny died, and she found out she was pregnant,
Do you remember when Chloe was dating the
Dean?
actor?
Yeah, Grey Worm. Yeah, I wish he was still in the show. Yeah.
I wish the same, but I mean, he's probably busy 365 days a year being Grey Worm.
This is true. Every day I'm Grey Worm. But yeah, they were cute together.
Yeah, they were cute together.
And that was another like kind of honest exploration of teenagers because Mark flips the fuck out when was I supposed to curse? I'm sorry. Now we have to do not safe for work on iTunes. But when Mark flips out when he finds out that Chloe has a boyfriend and she's like, we're having sex, and Mark again flips out, but she kind of has to educate him on the fact that like I'm being smart about this. And kind of throws it in her face. They have Mark's face that Beth were not smart.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think throwing shit in Mark's face must run in the Latimer's blood because, oh my god, Beth has a great burn here.
Yeah.
And I sympathize with Mark to some degree because, Beth is like, oh, hey, I had a great day at work. I have a sexual assault case in town. And Mark's like, that's not good news.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want either of you going out after dark. And on some level, I think Beth is right. It's like, hey, we don't need you to look after us. And also, but so Mark's like, all right, bye.
Yeah.
And Chloe's visibly upset that like, okay, Mark barely comes around, so you can't just treat him like that. But barely comes around is strong. I think that That sounds even worse than being a weekend dad.
Yeah, I do. I feel bad for Chloe and for Lizzie too. Although obviously we know Chloe way better than we know Lizzie. But I mean, although Chloe seems to be pretty well adjusted for somebody who, her brothers died and her parents are now divorced. Although maybe it's better for her that they are divorced. But I don't know.
Right, yeah, and like you said, I do think this is especially good for Beth's character development because Beth never amounted the same number of fuck ups as Mark.
No, and I mean he was cheating on her when Danny died, and that's
also now that you dropped an F-bomb, I'm free to go ahead too.
Oh, woohoo! Yeah, I was the first one, so now it's just like it's just going to be a raucous episode. But I mean, I think Beth is people don't really like Beth. Beth is just a hard character because in season 2 she doesn't really get all that much to do other than be angry at Ellie. I think I don't really remember, and she's angry at Mark. She's just very angry. She has a lot of anger, and it makes sense. It totally makes sense. It's just not the type of thing that you necessarily really want to watch. But I think that it's leaving Mark behind and moving forward and getting a career and focusing on herself, I think it's got to be good for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and it's good to see that the characters aren't just stagnant in the same place where they were 3 years ago.
Yeah. The last 3 notes I have here, I'm not sure in what order they happen, but I'll lead with this. Trish calls Ellie to tell her that, oh, hey, I just remembered I was gagged with something and suffocated, I believe, right?
Right.
So that happens. Ellie goes over to Alec's new house.
Yeah.
A new
sea hut.
I know, a new sea shanty for Alec to... Well, actually, sea shanty is a song. a new sea hut. We'll just... Sea Hut 2.
Sea Hut.
But yeah, it's so cute. I'm like, what an upgrade.
Yeah. He's doing okay for himself.
He's up on the top of the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't really catch this interaction, but while reading the script, I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny. Because Alec is like, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, I saw your lights were on. And it's like, halfway up a hill.
Yeah.
At this time at night. And she's like, oh, okay, I was hoping you were awake. Don't be a twat.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so good.
It is.
But yeah, Alec's like, oh, everything you just learned was confirmed by, the science, the lab guys, right?
Right.
Now, I gotta say, I feel like that means we have Alec and Ellie are questioned, about taking Trish at face value.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is she genuine?
Mm-hmm.
And as an audience, I feel like we're given more than just good faith to believe that she's genuine, because now she is called with facts that she recalls,
mm-hmm.
and they line up exactly with what the lab said.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like a double blind thing. The facts came together and they match up, right?
Yeah, which is, I think, when you're handling a case like sexual assault on a show like this, I think there is an extra pressure to really get it right, because you don't want to be that show that reinforces the stereotype of, people lie. Exactly. Yeah. And in most of their cases, the evidence doesn't add up nicely, or it comes together in funny ways. So it's interesting to see that in this case in particular, they're handling it with the angle of no, it's adding up. The tricky part is just the fact that Trish has experienced severe trauma, and so she's remembering things in bits and pieces. And she can't remember certain things. So it's we're gonna learn more, and the investigation will progress as she remembers and is willing to go back to that place and open up about that.
Yeah, I gotta say, I didn't even bother to look it up, which is a shame on my part. But I think the actress who is playing Trish is really helping to make all this happen and make it work and sell it. And
and just the ways that she kind of moves and carries herself, and
mm-hmm.
She's stooped over, and she just feels very. Just feels like her movements are all kind of very heavy, and her eyes are very. There's not a light there, and just the ways there's a scene when she's taking off her clothes for evidence, and she kind of just shuffles out of her shoes, and it's
mm-hmm.
just her little movements are it really, really brings home the character, and you really feel it.
So another scene that happens here, and again, I got these are bits and pieces, but they did all happen at the end here.
Mm-hmm.
We had Jim,
mm-hmm.
Kath's husband.
Yeah.
No, yes. He pulls up to the driveway, and that looks like Kath, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, okay. So she's visibly upset. He's in the driveway, and it turns out that he has a pack of red condoms
mm-hmm.
in the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, that could be the red herring.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, we always have that in every season, and it's only the first episode, and, it's easy enough to say, well, everybody uses condoms.
Yeah. Okay, so, again, I for all we know, this would be bizarre, even for this show, but, this would be more appropriate on, an HBO thing. But for all we know, Kath's 50th birthday could have been an orgy at the Hampton Manor.
Yeah, it's true.
And those red condoms were just in a bowl on your way in.
It's totally possible, exactly.
So,
we just don't know enough information yet.
Right. So that's that. Then the last thing is, speaking of the manor, we have this moment which I think is just so reminiscent of season 1.
Mm-hmm.
You're at the crime scene. It's at night, and then a shadowed figure picks up the bag of twine.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh no!"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "That's perfect." And what a perfect way! That was the last shot, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's perfect." Like something that's great about Broadchurch is that it gives you so much to work on, but it still teases you at the end. Like, hey, you know what? You don't get all the clues.
Yeah.
You'll know something that the detectives don't,
mm-hmm.
and who knows how long it takes for them to realize that happened,
right?
Because I want to say season 1's version of that was the boat burning, right?
Yeah,
but the boat burning ended up generating some clues too.
Yes, there was hair or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think it's it's just an exciting note to end the show on, and this just feels so good. I think I said earlier that this season could be a really good send off for Beth, but I also think this season solving this crime could be a really good send off for Alec and Ellie, just because they have technically 2 wins, but it'd be nice if one felt like good and solid justice being served, and
yeah. Well, I mean, this is the first case that they're working together that we see where the victim is alive, and there's something really tangible to that they're fighting for her. I mean, with the Latimers, it's for the family, and for Sandbrook as well, it's for the family. But Trish, it's for Trish.
Mm-hmm. It makes it so easy to root. I mean, you're always rooting for them, but here it's just you have this feeling of they gotta do this, and for them to be whole, solving this would really help. I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, things can really get ratcheted up once we meet Leah, the daughter, in London.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Trish says right then in this episode that she's expected back soon. Maybe even she says there's a week.
I think so. It's a couple. For some reason I think it's
couple
3 days, but I could totally be pulling that out of nowhere.
Yeah. So it's. Oh boy. Oh wait, I do have one more shocking development.
Yes.
Skoda is not bringing us the drama.
That's right. That's right. It's not Skoda. It was another car, right?
Seat, but it's pronounced Cert. It's Spanish. Yeah. And we have a Spanish car sponsor, not a Czech car sponsor. So, oh well, I don't know. That car doesn't seem to have an umbrella holder.
I know. Come on, bring back Skoda. There was also an ad for I don't know if it was Quaker Oats, but it was for some sort of oatmeal, and it sounded really good. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I was like, oh yeah, I can't buy that.
Did you get that chocolates ad with the seal?
I don't remember.
They're called digestives, and I was like, what the fuck?
Digestive biscuits are really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would you call your chocolates that? That makes it sound like a laxative.
I know it sounds really gross, but because I don't know what the ad was for. I guess it was probably the chocolate digestives, but they're really good. They're they're kind of like graham crackers, but they're different. They're supposed to be dunked in tea, or you can just have them on your own. They're really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was one more ad I really liked, but it's escaping me. I don't know if it was for food or travel or.
Yeah, I can't think of.
Well, we'll check back next week at the end of Ad Watch. Oh, the ads are so delightful.
Yeah, well, it's kind of fun for us to see the ads because it's It's for stuff that we wouldn't. It's ads that we wouldn't see otherwise.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so we enjoy them.
They're not really that fun to watch, but they're a little bit delightful because it's like, okay.
There are a lot of ads.
Yeah, it can go on a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really complain, but yeah.
But I think that, as far as I'm concerned, that's probably got to be it for the Sad Brigade.
Yeah.
Coming back, but very excited for more of this. This, it's you don't really notice it until you're back in it. But, oh man, it's so easy to miss Broadchurch.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't really hyped for season 3, but it was kind of like when we saw that it was happening, it was like, oh yeah, this is happening. That's cool. And then watching the episode, it was just from the very beginning, it was just engrossing. And like I said to you, I'm glad that I can be like legitimately excited about this and not just excited that like, oh, it's Broadchurch and we're podcasting. Like, no, I'm really, really excited to watch next week's episode, and I hope that it stays this way.
Yeah, it's not just that it's back, but I feel like it's back and reconstituted and stronger, and it knows how it wants to go. It knows how it wants to end now. Yeah. And I think even some of the camera shots, like the way they circled around the police station, I was like, we've never seen that before. Every time they showed the police station, it was the same dead-on angle or something, right? Like,
yeah, it's usually from the front, but it was just beautiful camera work. The writing seemed, again, to be really top-notch. It kind of had more of that play feel that Season 1 had, where it's going to be, it seems like a small cast of characters, and it's still contained to the town. Like, even the shop that Trish works in, it's very charming and very small town-y, whereas Season 2 is really focused on that courthouse, which is just, unusual for the Broadchurch scenery.
Well, I was just thinking two things. One, so adding to the small town feel and everything, I mentioned earlier that Ed was the owner, or like the manager of that Flincombe like farmer's market or whatever that they work at, and it sounds like he was also at the party, because when Alec and Billy bring her aside and like, hey, we're the police, there's been something at your party we need to talk to you about, and she was like, Ed and Jim, they got into it, and it's just like,
that's right.
So that might have happened. I guess Ed, the manager of the store, and her husband might have gotten into a fight.
Yeah.
I was also hoping, like, so small town feel, right? Small cast of characters, right? It's like a play. I kind of hope that something happens with this party invite list that, first of all, you got to hope that Jim doesn't have an incentive to hide any of the invitees and gives them the genuine list. And hopefully something happens that Guess Who style that can kind of just eliminate a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Like if they're like I don't know, let's say all the hair they find on Trish, like the outfit she threw in the corner of the house, let's say all the hair she on that was like blonde.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And they would still have to probably interview everyone at that party to some degree, but it'd be really great if we can narrow down the suspects too. Because in Broadchurch, the suspect list was like everyone you can name in the town, almost.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it was just, it does have like that, it's just a lot bigger. Like there was, the whole cast of lawyers, and there was Sharon's son, and it was just it was very, very far reaching, which was okay, but it wasn't my favorite.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm excited to cover our first season 3 of anything.
This is true.
And no, I'm excited to get back into releasing these things, because it's been a while. Gosh, I mean, when did Fargo end? Because that was the last thing we covered.
That'd be December 2015, yeah.
Damn. So it's been over a year.
Yeah, well, none of our shows have been, I mean, I guess we could have done, like, Westworld or something, but we kind of didn't watch it I didn't watch it as it aired. I caught up, like, in time for, like, episode 8 or something.
And I couldn't convince you to do a Lucifer podcast, huh?
No.
But, so, I think it's also... like not so much for the case of True Detective and Fargo, but we're kind of almost entirely doing murder shows with cop characters to follow.
This is true. Although I'd be totally down for Westworld season 2.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, we're too late up for the bandwagon for that.
Oh no, we're right on time. We
true.
Always cover the season 2.
This is true. We are the sequel brigade.
Yeah. So but I'm so excited to get some feedback. Hopefully, some of the listeners from season 1 get a nice little surprise in their podcast feed when they see updates for the first time in a year.
2 years, or well, I mean a year for the Sea Brigade, but 2 years for Broadchurch.
And then I'll get up there and post this on Reddit and everything.
Yeah,
where,
I'm excited.
I'm gonna do some work to get this thing on YouTube. Maybe not by Tuesday night. I'm gonna get the MP3 out on Tuesday. Hopefully the video by Wednesday, and then we'll get back on Monday night. Do it all over again. Yeah,
I'm really excited.
Yeah, so you can always email us at seabrigadepodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, and please do. We really, really love to get mail. It makes us feel happy and gives us other stuff to talk about other than our own opinions.
Exactly. Yeah. You give us something to read, we'll read it.
Mm-hmm. That's always been our
asterisk. And it should be like positive contribution.
Yeah. Nothing mean.
And then I guess final shout outs. Music by Kevin MacLeod.
Yeah.
If you and then the end music by Oliver Arnolds.
Yeah. I like the new song.
Yeah, I like it too.
Funny thing is, I think season 2 had a different song than season 1, but I don't remember it. But I remember season 1's very well.
Yeah, I think all the music might have been done by the same.
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but gotta stick with the original.
Indeed.
And all goes well, you should be hearing that right now, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, that's the Sea Brigade, I guess.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Yeah, bye.